Hello, my name is Hussaina. I'm a sixth-year medical student here at RSU in Riga, and today we'll be talking about finances and how to live on a budget here in Latvia. Okay, sure, I could do that. Okay. Yeah, okay. So living abroad has helped me manage my money in a way that it helps me think about the amount that I have and how I should budget it, and it has also made me realize where I should spend my money and what I should focus on in order to utilize the budget that I have. It made me grow in a way that I know how to utilize my budget and not really spend money on unnecessary things. So the cost of living here in Riga really depends on where you live. So you have student dorms, then you have studio apartments, and then there's also shared apartments. So those different types have different costs, of course. A studio apartment can range from 300 to 500 depending on the location and the size, etc. A shared dorm can range between 200 to 400, and the utilities can also differ depending on, because in some dorms the utilities are included in the rent price, and in some dorms they are separate, so you have rent and utilities separate. And then in a shared apartment the cost can be from also 200 to 400, and then on top of that usually the utilities bills. So utilities during the summer can range from 50 to 70 euros in the summer and up to 150 to 200 euros in the winter. Living costs here in Latvia are really dependent on your lifestyle and what preferences you have, really. Usually the most student-friendly way is to go to the big grocery stores and, buying your own food and cooking at home. Grocery costs can range from 40 to 70 euros per week depending on how much you eat and how much you want to, spend on yourself. But apart from that, there are other ways as well. Like as students, we also want to, have a little luxury in our daily life, so you can go out to eat, and it really depends on what you feel like eating, and that can range from 10 euros up to 30 euros per meal. Those are the food-related costs. And then there's also the transportation, or especially Riga has really good transportation system, especially public transport. So you have trams, buses, trolley buses, and then also taxis. But the public transport itself costs 12 euros if you're a student. So the good thing about the public transportation card for students is that it's only 12 euros per month, and you can use any of the modes of transportation, so bus, trolley buses and trams, and it can get you around the city in a really efficient manner, and usually they're very timely, on time, and it's not a hassle to get around at all. And then as for taxes, etc., they're also not very expensive, but they are more pricey in terms of per ride cost, if that makes sense. So my advice is to use the public transportation system that is in Latvia, or especially in Riga, because it's the most student-friendly and the best option that you have. So the most expensive thing that I found in Riga compared to where I come from is that coffee here in coffee shops are a bit more expensive than what I'm used to. And also another thing that I noticed when I came was that high-end clothing shops are a bit more expensive than what I'm used to as well. The things that I found a lot cheaper than compared to where I come from was cinema is really cheap. Another thing that I found is really cheap here is the gym as well, because you can go to gym for 19 euros per month and you can have all the facilities. The whole gym is at your disposal, and you can work out at 24/7 really. How I get my money sent to me is that my parents send me a set amount of money to my bank account that I can then utilize however I want here in Latvia. I usually the amount that I get, I budget in certain sections. So I have rent, I have food bills, gym, etc., and then miscellaneous things that I want to spend my money on. So that's usually how I budget it. And the good thing about my bank is that I can usually take out money through the ATM, and it converts it into euros, which is the official currency here in Latvia, and I can then use it however I please. The thing is, here people use both cash and card, so it really depends on what you feel comfortable using. You can use your card or you can use cash, either way works. But you can also check with your bank if there is an exchange rate, like if it's more profitable if you use card or cash. The big bank here in Latvia is Swedbank, so if you do open a bank account, usually it's through Swedbank. It's the best way to utilize money because they have an app you can send money through to your friends, etc., like that. And they also have like Revolut Bank, which is getting bigger. It wasn't as big before, but it's getting bigger, and people also use that to send money and transfer it to each other, and also use it as a form of payment. However, it's not very accepted in stores, but if you have, for example, bills or things like that, some companies might accept Revolut, so you can keep that in mind as well. How to save money here in Latvia? I think my best tip to surviving in Riga on a budget and getting a discount is to don't eat. Ramen can work, but you know, it really depends on what you feel like. I'm joking. Eat a healthy meal, please. The best way to save money here in Riga is once you get matriculated into your university, you usually get a student card, and that student card is the key to getting a bunch of discounts in the city. So you can use it in different coffee shops, you can use it at different stores, restaurants. There are a bunch of places, and I think if you just go into a restaurant and ask if they have a student discount and you show your student card, then you can probably get at least 10% discount for a meal or for a service or whatever. So yeah, and I think once you get into the city, you will kind of also understand what works for you and what places is the best for you. Living in Latvia, I feel like, is affordable and student-friendly because there are multiple ways to save money and to budget so you can live good life, student life, especially here in Riga. In my first year, I had a little bit of trouble understanding how to manage my finances because, you know, it was new for me living abroad and being alone and understanding where I should spend my money and how to spend it. It was a bit confusing for me at first, but once I sat down and kind of understood the costs of things and realized where I should put my money, it really helped me budget accordingly and spend my money in the right way so that I have enough money to survive, but then also have money to enjoy my life and do things outside of school and things like that, like going bowling or going to the movies or things like that. And I think if you really take your time and sit down and budget, I think you will be able to survive really well as a student here in Riga. So this was all that I had to say about the finances and financing here as a student in Riga, and I hope that you found it useful and that you can get some tips out of everything that I said, and I wish you good luck with your studies here in Riga at RSU.